Okay, everybody, I have a special treat. Welcome to the Work-Life Brilliance podcast. It's Denise, and with me today, I have Tim James, also known as Health Hero. And I'm going to let Tim introduce himself in just a minute. But Tim, I have to tell you, you know that phrase, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear?
Yes.
Yes.
I say it a lot.
You say it a lot. Well, before I was going to say that, I was going to say, I manifested you because I have literally been making a grocery list based on a healthy food regimen I was going to do for the next week, but it didn't feel right, or the next month, it didn't feel right. And then I was thinking, which of my homeopathic, naturalists, naturopaths, wellness doctors that I've worked with in the past do I want to work with right now? And they didn't feel right. And I'm like, I need the right person. I need the right person. And then I go on your freaking website. I'm like, oh, okay, it's Tim, the guy I'm talking to today. Yes,
Awesome.
this is who I need. This is exactly who I need. So
Cool.
You're going to be helping me, and you're also going to be helping everybody who's listening to this.
Well, that's exciting. This
I
actually
know.
happens about every third show that I'm on. I do, like I said, I do about 3 to 5 shows a week. I'm on interviewed all the time. And about 1 out of 3 podcast hosts says something that's similar, like, oh, the timing's right. Or this something happened. They get diagnosed with something, or they're just like tired of being sick and tired. They want to really lose the weight full time. And then I work with them. And most of them do pretty darn good. And they, I challenge them. I actually put them on a 90-day challenge. So I'm going to challenge you to a 90-day challenge, and then you can have me back on and we'll do a recap. And I will even donate my time to you. I'll even do a little 15-minute like laser coaching session once a week, at least for the first 30 days to keep you moving.
Damn.
And then you can join our group coaching community too. And then you can plug into me. That's what I recommend everybody do. But and we'll just get you going for 90 days, and then you can have first person experience, because that's the best. Because until you have experienced anything yourself, you don't really know. You just don't know. Like somebody tells you something, okay, you have to go out and take action and get first person experience, and then you know if it works for you. And it might work for me, but it might not work for you, right?
It's so true.
You have to figure it out.
Now, your website says take baby steps. You just made me take a 90-day step, dude.
Well, that's because you're a show host and you're a go-getter. And we like challenges, right? You want a challenge. That means it'll have a beginning and an end. If you want, we can just do a 30-day challenge, but we like doing 90 days because it really gives your body time to respond.
Right.
And we want to build up momentum. Usually, like in my coaching program, if I get 6 months with somebody, they will never be the same person. They will never be the same. And they don't want to be. They're wanting,
right.
Because I've been able to heal myself, and you get so much satisfaction knowing that you've healed yourself, and I don't have to worry about heart disease and cancer and all that stuff. I know how it works now. Yeah. It's pretty simple. And it's just nature and getting all this man-made crap out of the body.
Let's pause there and quote you. I don't have to worry about heart disease and cancer. I know how it works.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. That is so huge. That is so huge.
I had some podunk redneck like me to figure it out, but a lot of people have figured this stuff out. This is not like, and I mean, some people listening right now are like, yeah, whatever. Like all the experts are doing all this stuff. I'm like, you know what? Look around. Mm-hmm. Look around. Cancer. In fact, medical doctors, if there's any medical doctors listening right now that went to school in the 70s, what I'm going to say here is going to resonate with you, because they were told by the year 2000, we will have eradicated all disease. That's what they were telling the students in medical school back then. Well, 2000s come and went. Have we eradicated all disease? No, there's more diseases. And now it's so bad. I was talking to somebody yesterday. I said, look, we are so de-evolving as a species. We are the sickest that human beings have ever been in the history of humanity. It's so bad that now children are being born obese, overweight and obese. And then I said, and now children are being born with type 2 diabetes. And then on last night, my son started in January a TikTok account. So I was like, I'll hop on TikTok. I try to stay away from social media just because I wanted to see what he was up to, right? And last night I was on TikTok going to his account, and then I flipped, and there was a thing there, and it said, this kid has cancer. It was like a baby. He was born with cancer. And I was just like, that's where we're at. You shouldn't be born with cancer, okay? Wake up. We have to wake up. We have to learn how to become our own doctors. We have to learn how to self-heal, just like every other living creature out there. And I learned how to do it for myself. My friend healed himself of chronic lymphocytic leukemia right in front of my face. And our story is how I got out of the financial services industry as a business professional and started helping people with their health, because I'd have all these people come in and they're rich and they got lots of money. They got a schedule of real estate deep. They got all these rental properties, their house is paid for, tons of cash, 401ks, Roth IRAs, investments, oil and gas. I mean, we're doing all kinds of cool stuff for them, but then the wheel falls off. And then they're spending thousands and tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars just trying to scrape back a little bit of their health. And they're going into a broken system. And then one of them ends up in a care facility because, we've got over 28% of baby boomers now have Alzheimer's and dementia and memory loss. And that's expensive. I mean, that's like $9,000 a month on average to take care of somebody like that, 24 hours in care. And they don't remember stuff and they wander off and go on walks and get lost and they pee all over themselves in the toilets and they're losing their faculties. And it's like, that is expensive. Now, the other spouse is there watching their rest of their assets go down to nothing. And then they're left with Social Security or they're destitute. Right. And so our poor health doesn't affect just us. It affects everybody else around us. We have really got to take responsibility for this because the experts, the politicians, the medical experts, a lot of them, no offense, because there's a lot of good ones out there, especially when crisis care. I almost died in Peru one time, but they saved me with the surgery. So that's awesome. That's a good part of the medical system. But the palliative, the disease care, the chronic issue care, it's a broken system. The food system's broken. It's all broken. There's one solution. Go look in the mirror. There's your solution. Get educated. You're smarter than you think. Take responsibility for yourself. Become your own doctor. Learn these basic, simple things. Plug your body back into nature. And guess what? It's going to respond. You change the inputs, you change the environment, your genes are going to express themselves differently, just like I did. And I'm almost 49 now, and I'm running around the hills like my 19-year-old son literally had to stop about 3.5 miles into the run. And I was being nice to him. I was like, hey, when we run, I do this twice a week. So if you get tired, just let me know. Don't ego it up. He's like, just run. Just go, Dad. 3.5 miles into, he's like, okay, stop. He's like, I can't believe it. And I'm like, what? He's like, you're kicking my butt. And I'm like, well, I understand how the bodies work. I've cleaned up my cells. My cells are vibrating at a higher frequency than yours. He's just like, I just don't get it. He goes, you're old. I'm just like, I said, I don't feel old, buddy. I don't feel old. And your old man just kicked your butt. So it's proofs in the pudding, right? Proofs in the pudding.
Yeah. I'm so geeking out with you right now. I literally have an emotional frequency vibration chart on my wall. And I know I'm doing a lot of good things. I'm doing a lot of things right. Like you see, I'm drinking lemon water. This is like my 5th 10-ounce glass today. I drank a green smoothie.
Can I give you a tip on that really quick?
Yeah.
So drinking lemon water is freaking awesome. Okay. Because it's actually acidic, but when the lemon or lime juice hits your mouth, the saliva turns it to alkaline. But if you're drinking a lot of lemon water, every time you're done drinking it, you need to wash your mouth out with clear water. Otherwise, the acid can actually eat the enamel off your teeth and cause tooth issues. So I just want to tell you that because I like you and I want you to have nice, healthy teeth.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Okay. Thank you. See, it's these little things. I know that what I was going to say is I know a lot of things I'm doing are right, but I am missing things because they don't teach us things like what you just told me.
I am really excited to work with you because I know you are just like me. You're going to be like hungry hippo. You're going to just grab it all and implement it. You're going to put all these things into your life. And I guarantee you in 3 to 6 months, you are going to feel like a new lady. I promise you that. I'm
so excited.
You're going to have so much energy. You're going to be like me. People think I'm on cocaine sometimes because I'm high on water and nutrients and I have all these. My air is the best. My water's the best. I eat like living foods now and stuff. And I used to be this redneck, standard American diet guy that was, 42 pounds overweight. I had eczema on my knee, cracking and bleeding, eczema on my elbows, cracking and bleeding, acid reflux, another skin issue on my shoulder. I was bleeding rectally for 2.5 years when I pooped. That's why my shirt says love when you poop, because for me, it was a very painful process followed by blood. So I was a mess, no energy, low energy, mental fog, all that stuff. And I was able to turn it all around. So I just want to show other people how to do it.
That is so amazing. And I mean, you have this amazing before and after picture on your website, but your before picture looks like 90% of the world, like 90% of the population, right? And now you look at it and you're like, oh my God, that was me. I can't believe that.
I remember when that was on actually my brother and sister-in-law went with me and my wife to our belated honeymoon in Hawaii. And she snapped that picture of me by the pool when I was kind of turned back to the right. I think that's when you're talking about my big gut was hanging over. And then she's like, oh yeah, I want to get that one picture. Was you send me that picture that Troy took on your phone, and I want to put it on my Facebook. I said, if you put that on Facebook, we're getting divorced because I look terrible. I looked at it, and even I was just like, oh my God, what have I become? I've become this whale, like this bloated person. And I'm like, I'm an athlete, dang it. And I'm just like, oh, I'm so frustrated about that. And then now I like showing it to people. Number one, I can't even believe that it was me. I can't even relate because it's been 11 years since I was like that. And I like showing it to people now because I'm like, look, there's where I was and this is where I'm at now. You can do it too. And it doesn't have to be complicated.
Right. And you don't have to look overweight to feel that, right? I mean,
No.
you probably saw it, the International Labor Board and World Health Organization proved that working just 55 hours a week, 55 hours a week was considered overwork. And it led to early death by heart disease and stroke. Usually those were the two. So we have so many people walking around who are in stress. And so we can also talk about what that does to your cells. But selfishly, my thing is like, I look great from the outside. I think, I mean, I think I look fairly healthy, but my energy is low.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to get it up. And I know, in the past I've had near adrenal failure. And so that's a struggle that I've had. But I'm sure there are things that I'm doing or not doing regarding my diet that I need to change, and the toxicity. Okay. So you have something on your website that says, umbilical cord toxins.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell is that?
Well, they're toxic chemicals that are in the umbilical cord blood of every young mother and baby being born today. So when you guys are done listening to this talk, that's why our company is called Chemical Free Body, because of exactly what you're talking about. About 9 years ago, I looked up umbilical cord chemical in my browser, and I found studies going back to 2005 that show that every single child being born today and young mother, when they test the umbilical cord blood serum, they were looking for 400 toxic chemicals. They found 71%. They found 250 of what they were looking for, and 180 of those cause cancer in humans, and 212 cause developmental and brain disorders. Right? So think about that. Our children are born with 180 toxic cancer-causing chemicals and other, over 200 that cause developmental and brain disorders in the fetus. Right? So what's happened is the microscopic pollutions are so pervasive today, and the problem is you can't see them. They're like these microscopic, tiny, no-see-them invaders that are bioaccumulating every day from the 20,000 breaths that we take a day, from the water that we're drinking, the foods we're consuming, the drinks, the cosmetics that we're putting on our face, the Glade air fresheners, the harmful if swallowed toothpaste. Please contact the Poison Control Center, or the sodium lauryl sulfates that are known carcinogens that are suffocants used in shampoos. All these things, the paint off gassing. If you have carpets, these are off gassing formaldehyde. You're literally embalming yourself and your family if you have synthetic carpet in your house. People don't think about this stuff because it's out of sight, it's out of mind, you can't see it. The blood doesn't lie. Okay. Now, keep in mind, there's actually over 100,000 toxic chemicals out there, and they're only testing 0.25%. And there's 2,000 new ones being launched every year. So they only looked for 400 chemicals, but they found 71% of what they're looking for. So if we extrapolate that out, we have a potential of 71,000 toxic chemicals in our bloodstream, but it gets worse. When you go to the actual muscle and fat tissue, the concentrations are actually 500 to 1,000 times more concentrated than what they tested for in the blood serum. So we are overpolluted. It's like the straw that breaks the camel's back. It just kind of slowly builds up in the body on a cellular level, in the muscle and the fat tissue and the brain tissue. And it starts shutting down your body and your cells, your hormone communication, the ability to absorb nutrients, starts shutting down your organ systems. And we have found that when you learn about this stuff, getting the awareness is step one. I guess besides, putting yourself first, which is huge, and making your health a priority, that would probably be step one. But step two is now you get educated, you get awareness, and then you learn to stop putting this stuff in where it's coming from, like just buying healthy toothpaste as an example versus buying, vote with your dollars basically, instead of giving it to some company that obviously gives a crap about you at all or the environment, and give your money to a good company. So that's step two there, I guess. And then so step one is put yourself as a priority. Step two is start buying products and services that won't pollute you, right? It's just that simple. Now, so you got to learn about that stuff and then get that stuff out of the body, which we can talk about some steps how to do it. And then we also have another big problem besides the cellular pollution is the soil's been farmed out. So 85% of the nutrients are gone in the soil. So even if you switch over to organic, which is great, that's less chemicals, but the USDA organic stamp is it's compromised. And they allow up to 150 chemicals in the USDA label. So that's not any good. Most of the local farmers around here you go to the farmers markets, they walked away from the USDA. Why? Because they said that they make them fill out a bunch of paperwork, which they don't want to do. And the more money they make, the more they take, and nobody ever comes out and inspects anything. So what are they paying for? So people are like, well, where's your USDA stamp? Is it USDA organic? It's like, no, it's better than that. They have to start teaching and educating people. We can't go along with society and what's on TV. They lie. It's a 24/7 WWF wrestling. Politicians, celebrities, news, they're all in cahoots. That's the way it is. It's a broken system. Turn it off. It's negative. It's fear-based. And whatever they're selling you, don't buy it. Go the exact opposite. And that's usually where success is. Right. So, okay. So we've got chemical pollution in our bodies on a cellular level. We've got a lack of nutrition. And so we're starving on a molecular cellular level. We're literally malnourished like an African child, yet we're overweight because of the empty excess calories. So our cells are like, I need nutrition. I need nutrition. Go eat, go eat. So you eat and you eat and you eat, but you can never satisfy the need for cellular nutrition on that micro level because it's not in the food. So you eat and you eat and you eat and you eat, and you're always hungry and you're always tired and you're gaining weight and you can't figure it out. When you start flooding the body with replacing the 85% that's missing, your cells shut off the hunger cravings and your food bill is cut in half. That's how it works. Every single time I work with people, they eat half as much food as they were before. And they're like, wow, I can't believe it. I just like, but because we're using food as a dope and we have all these emotional issues around food. So if we're reaching for food as emotions are trying to come up and heal us, we use food to push it back down. So there's a lot going on there with food. And then the third thing is stress. You brought that up earlier. Man, it is a killer. It's blowing out people's adrenal glands. The cortisol levels are being blasted. You can't digest food properly when you're stressed out because you're literally in fight or flight mode, and the blood leaves the organ systems to your extremities to fight or flight, to run or get out of there. And and then it's just like, so if we have these three main things going on, wouldn't it make sense to clean our bodies up, our gut and our organ systems, our cells, get all these chemicals and the garbage out, flood the body with nature, all these concentrated nutrients, and replace what's missing, and then get yourself some tactics and strategies to mitigate your stress. Things like breath work, meditation, clearing your mind, hanging out with people you love, going for walks in the forest, going for walks in the beach, getting in nature, getting barefoot, grounding. These are all things that people can do to reduce stress. Listening to, listening to gongs and singing bowls, and going to things like they're called sound baths, and doing yoga and doing relaxed stretching. There's so many things people can do, but nobody's teaching us. Mom and dad didn't teach us. They didn't teach us at school. So these are things you're going to have to go out and explore a little bit and find the things that you like that work for you to reduce your stress. And as you change your lifestyle and your environment and your new habits, you're going to change how your genes express themselves. You're going to become a healthier person, a more productive member of society. You're going to put up for less BS in your relationships and anything else in your life. And you're going to start putting yourself first, and it just snowball effect. And when you raise your health up, it's like the water lifting all boats. Your relationships get better. Relationship with yourself gets better. Your spiritual practice gets better and more enhanced. You start your career is better because you'll either drop what you're doing and you'll start a new one, or you'll just start participating better at it. Usually when I coach people, if they're business owners or they're commissioned, we don't advertise this at all, but I know you have a lot of like professionals listening to this. Like, we went back and benchmarked our business professionals. Every single one of them in our 6-month coaching program literally increased their income by 21% on average. And we didn't talk about business. We didn't talk about that at all. I used to business coach. We just focused on the health component because the vehicle that's going to drive that business and drive those sales is you.
Exactly.
So if we can clean you up and get your cells vibrating at a higher frequency, the culmination of all your cells is you, and you're going to vibrate at a higher frequency, and you're going to be more attractive in the marketplace. Then people will be like, what is it about her? Something about him is, I liked him. I liked her. I want to do business with that person. Plus, you're clearer. You can close better. You have the energy to do the follow-up calls. You just increase, everything gets better when you have your health, and you don't have to worry about cancer and all that kind of stuff. Because once you understand how it works, you just don't play that game anymore.
Okay. God, I'm loving this. There's something that you said, you've said it twice now. I just want people to understand. You keep saying you change how your genes express. And a lot of people will say, well, I have this disease, it just runs in my family. And that's bullshit. Like,
But for the
no,
most part, there
in
is
some
some
ways.
truth to that. So only about 2 to 3% of stuff is genetic. Okay. Some people might have a mechanical valve issue in their heart, as an example. That could be a genetic
Right.
deal. And this is where Western medicine come in and they can fix it and patch it up. That's fantastic. But 97% of the time, it's the genes express themselves differently depending on the environment. This is called epigenetics. There's this guy, Dr. Bruce Lipton. He's a cell biologist, 50-year researcher, and he figured this out. He actually has dispelled a lot of stuff because they used to say that the nucleus was the driving engine of the cell. And he thought, I'm going to take the cell out or the nucleus out. He took the nucleus out, and guess what? The cell was still living. So that broke that whole thing. So what he's talking about here is they actually take, like, I'll give you an example. When they were like they're trying to find cures for cancer. What they do is they take a healthy human cell, as an example, and they put it into a petri dish and they put it into an environment of a known carcinogen. They know that when they put that healthy cell in this substance, that is going to change that healthy cell and mutate it into a form of cancer. And when that happens, they're studying it and watching it because they're trying to develop some synthetic type of a drug to stop that process so then they can patent it, mark it up thousands of percent and sell it to us so that we don't have to change our lifestyle. So we don't have to take responsibility for health. We can just keep doing what we're doing and just take a pill and move on because we're too busy. Right. So they do that. That's genetic research for cancer. My question is how about we don't put the healthy cell in an environment that causes the cancer in the first place?
Yeah.
How about that? And why don't we look at our environment? And then our environment is this human body is anything that comes into contact with it. Anything from your thoughts, very powerful. That actually changes your chemistry. Your thoughts will change your chemistry. If you were with somebody you love and they started telling you something like, I'm going to break up with you, you start getting those weird feelings in your stomach. Your chemistry is changing in your body. And then you see what I'm saying? Emotions do dictate health. So what else is in your environment? The air you breathe. You take 20,000 breaths a day. How clean is your air? Well, if you're living in a home, especially with all this, quarantining and stuff, which is stupid, your house is about 100 times more polluted than downtown Los Angeles on its smoggiest day. Your carpet is off. If it's synthetic carpet, it's off gassing formaldehyde and you're slowly embalming yourself and your family. If you had a new baby girl and you painted the room pink, that paint's curing for 4.5 years and that baby is breathing in toxic fumes. People don't think about this. Air fresheners, they plug into the walls, these things, they're putting up chemicals in the candles. It's 24/7. It's everywhere. So awareness has to be put, and then we give people solutions. So instead of putting candles, then you use essential oil diffusers. Now you got medicine in the air rather than pollution, right? So clean up your air, you clean up your water, you clean up your food, you get outside and you let the body heal itself. You change the environment. And for ladies, makeups, shampoos, hair dyes, all of these things are causing issues in your body. They're disrupting your hormones. And how many women today are having, Hashimoto's and Graves'? They have thyroid disorders and they're having trouble with, I'm gaining weight and I don't know what's going on. And it's like, well, your cells are not communicating with each other. If you're using bleach and, the thyroid as an example is really interesting because it's got those 4 halogens in the elemental chart. They've got you've got chlorine and bromide and fluoride and these and iodide, right? So the thyroid really needs iodide and iodine. It really needs those things. And but these other halogens look very similar. So when you take in chlorine or fluoride, the body's like, oh, that's iodide, and it grabs it, and the thyroid's grabbing hold of it, and it's messed it all up. That's why when women have breast cancer, it's a very high hormonal deal. The people that taught me was like, you want to put women on tons and tons of iodine and iodide for about at least 90 days so that as the iodine's coming in, the thyroid would be like, oh, iodine, and grab it and starts releasing the stuff that kind of looks like you just kind of sweep it and you get the new stuff in and get out the old stuff like the bromide and the iodine and the fluoride and the chlorine.
Well,
Because we need the bromide.
I have had Hashimoto's for as long as I can know. And,
Yeah.
and my mom has low thyroid, is on medicine for it. My grandma is, I don't know if my great grandma was. So that's just one of those things where people say, oh, it runs in your family. I'm just like, I
Yeah.
gotta fix this.
So the whole thing about that whole thing is like, there is some truth to that. Cause like your story, or, you know, my sister has breast cancer. My mom has breast cancer. My aunt has breast cancer. So I'm going to get it. So I'm going to cut my boobs off. You know, it's just like, that is crazy. No, your mom and your aunt and your sister and your grandma, they're all eating the same crap, most likely, because your family was, or they're all next to, they're living close to each other. Maybe they're all next to some power lines, or maybe a chemical plant, or you see what I'm saying? It's really the environment. So the whole point, what Dr. Bruce Lipton said with epigenetics is, look this up. It's the environment, stupid. That's what he kept saying over and over. It's the environment that creates how the genes express themselves. If you have a healthy environment, your genes will express themselves in a healthy way. If you have an unhealthy environment, the genes are going to express themselves in an unhealthy way, and you'll have a low quality of life. It's just that simple. So what I'm doing today is I want to share with people is like, if you want to be healthy, the only reason you're not is because you have not put your health as a priority yet. As soon as you do, you'll bump into somebody like me, and then you can start doing. And I always tell people, don't follow me, follow my example. Follow my example. And I'll bet your bottom dollar that probably 90% of the stuff that I share with you will work for you, but I know some of it won't, because everybody's individual. We should never look at one size fits all medicine. Like everybody gets the same jab. That's silly. It makes no sense. Everybody's different. We are different ages and stages and stress levels, and there's just different genetics. There's different stuff going on. What might work for me might not work for most people. But a lot of the stuff we do is like common sense. Cleaning up the cells and doing that kind of stuff, flooding the body with nutrition. These are all things that everybody should be doing.
And I am going to be including a link to your website in the notes, but for anybody who's dying to know it right now, it is chemicalfreebody.com. I already got your little freebie book and I was reading it, and it's so readable, and it's just like 4 things you can do right now that I'm just, okay, what was one of them? That was one of them. I'm like, why didn't anybody tell me that? Okay, I have heard this before, but chewing your food until it's liquid. You said why? And then you have a picture of your family or friends, I don't know who it is. And I noticed, I said, there are no beverages on the table. And then I read your thing and it says, don't drink while you're eating, which just sounds stupid. And then you explain why. So there are these fundamental things that are like easy, and you say only 2% of people know them. And I was curious before you answered this. Have you happened to read the book Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill?
No, I haven't.
You should read it. You would love it. So this book, he wrote it back in 1938, and he wrote Think and Grow Rich, which is like,
I read that one.
Biggest, top selling book of all time. And he wrote this one and they sat on it. He died and then his family sat on it because it was going to piss off the powers that be so much. They didn't want to get the crap from all the people you're talking about, the people trying to keep the status quo and all that. Yeah. But he talks about how fear is the thing that keeps people from reaching their potential. Fear of change, fear of and this is one of the things I help my clients with is changing fear so they change their emotions, and then they change their neural pathways. The missing component is you, for me. Like this is why this is so exciting for me, because I'm helping these women lower their stress, change their identities, change their thought patterns, but they're still in an environment physically. Now it's different mentally, it's different emotionally, and they can get raises and bonuses, but they may not have the capacity to deal with the new job. Yeah. That's what I see a lot of. So I want to help them by directing them to you. And then I want to help them figure out what protocol is right for them. So we're going to talk a little bit about how you choose, because your website shows a few different, ways to go. Yeah. But the reason I bring up this book is because, so it's basically a conversation. It's a parable. It's a conversation between him and the devil. And I believe the devil in this case represents all the negative energies in the world. Mm-hmm. And, our brains are wired to keep us safe in the short term so we can procreate. They're not wired to help us live a great life and reach our potential. So into the operating system, we insert fear. And he asks in the book, the devil, what percentage of people are not operating this way, have upgraded their operating system and are free of these constraints so they can live their true lives and be healthy. And by the way, he also talks about gut health. And this was in 1938. And he's talking about gut health. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, he was so ahead of his time. But the answer that the devil gives him is 2%. 2% of the world has freed themselves from this shackle of this fear-based brain operating system, is what I call it. And you kept quoting, only 2% of people know this, or only 4% of people do this. And I think that's realistic and maybe even strong, maybe even too optimistic. I don't know.
Yeah, you're talking about those core four secrets. Less than 5% of people are drinking adequate amounts of purified, restructured water, which we have to have today because all the water is polluted. Don't take my word for it. Look at the little fish in biology, 1,500 miles to the interior. The 2 and 2.5 inch fish now are having both male and female organs. They're turning into hermaphrodites because of the high concentrations of microplastics. So less than 5% of the population drink enough water. Less than 4% of the population is chewing their food well enough. Less than 2% of the population is avoiding liquids with meals. And less than 1% of the population is doing breath work when they eat. This is why we ship our products, Denise, all over the world, these detox and nutrition products, and they are the best supplements. They're most powerful in the world. I have never compromised on anything. And I've helped probably a dozen other supplement companies get their act together. And the owners just didn't know what they were doing. They wanted to have good formulas and stuff, but they just didn't know what they didn't know. So I was blessed enough to get Dr. Trodway, our formulator, to educate me on this stuff, to get this stuff right. I just lost my train of thought because I have like a gazillion things I want to share. What was I saying before?
I know that's okay, but we were talking about the less than 5%, and you just mentioned the 4 basic things, so you can read more about that.
Oh yeah, so the proof's in the pudding. So we ship this stuff all over the world, right? And because of the supply chain delays, it's taken 2 weeks to a month to get stuff to New Zealand, Australia, Ireland as an example. But we get emails like every day, because I do these shows all the time. I always talk about our core four secrets. People are grabbing the manual. And guess what? People are emailing, dude, my energy's up. My mental clarity's better. My brain fog's gone. My gas and bloating's getting better. I'm sleeping better. And they don't even have the freaking products yet, which are going to make it even way better. They're practicing 1, 2, 3, or all 4 of these core four secrets because we believe it's the foundation. I mean, people are like, well, what do I eat? What do I exercise? I'm like, look, you're putting the cart ahead of the horse. You don't even have your foundation in place yet. Let's get the foundation built. Then we can start putting up the walls, which is, the diet and the exercise and these other things. Let's just do some of the basic things that are actually 3 out of the 4 of them are literally free.
Yeah. I was just thinking that they are free. And I've looked at a lot of supplements too, and yours seem, for what they are, especially, quite reasonable. So I'm just so excited to recommend them.
Yeah. Well, I'll just give an example. Like all of our products, I pretty much built for myself. And I'll give you an example. Like our Green 85, as an example, has wheatgrass in it. Well, a lot of people know wheatgrass is good. It's like a superfood. They've called it that. It's tremendous healing properties. It's got the highest mineral content of all the grasses. So they extract the juice and you get that chlorophyll and it's great, right? But a lot of these companies will just put ground up wheatgrass blades, just grind up into a powder and throw it in a jar. Well, yeah, there's going to be a little bit there when you're going to be drinking green. So that's a good first step. You're doing positive things. There's going to be some benefit to it, and it's getting you to drink more water. So I'm all thumbs up for that. But the reality is if you got the actual juice extract, it would be better. But when you're extracting and doing processing of any kind, you're also going to denature it. Even though we do our best and everything's sun dried or, hand grown or picked and then sun dried or air dried over a 1 to 2 day period under 110 degrees to keep these enzymes active. We're very particular about that. We actually use Kirlian photography to test our supplements when they're done through the manufacturing process to make sure the life force is there so that when you're actually ingesting it, you're actually getting an electron transfer. No other lab that I talked to even knew this when I was looking for a place to manufacture my stuff. Dr. Treadway's lab had 2 Kirlian photography deals. So we have to look at these. You want whole food-based supplements, no synthetics, no binders, no fillers, just nature. That's what you want to put into your body. And when you do that, your body's going to work really, really, really well. So that's kind of a little bit about our products. But like I said, they're just part of the toolkit and they're really good. So the wheatgrass, as an example in ours, isn't just a juice extract, but it's concentrated, whether it's a 4-to-1 or 6-to-1 or 10-to-1 or 20-to-1 concentrate, whatever the most highest concentrations are available at the time, then that's what we put in the product. So these are highly concentrated juice and herbal extracts. And that's why it works so well. And if this was marked up normal markups, it would be $117 to $127 a can. The retail price is 89, but we've sold it for 60. It's been on sale for like years. So it's $67.95, and people can get other discounts on auto ship or if they buy it in packages and stuff like that.
And I think you're going to create a discount code for my audience, right?
Yeah, it'll be WLB, and they can get an additional 5% off. So and we have a lot of products, so we just usually tell people, go to the products tab if you're interested. You want to detox, you want to flood your body with nutrition, bacteria, and that kind of stuff. The good ones, the probiotics. I'd scroll down on the products tab to savings bundles because they're discounted. So you can get a discount, right? So you can get a jumpstart bundle if you want to stick your toes in the water. If you want to go all in and do the total energy and detox bundle like I do in the turmeric, great. Or pick one in between that resonates with you or fits your budget. Pick a bundle, get your discount, and then at checkout, put in WLB and get an additional 5% off. So you can get a double discount, and we have a double your money back guarantee on all of our products. I'm pretty confident that they're going to work. But I know 98% of them people are going to work for. 2% or less, it won't, because maybe they have an allergy to one of the ingredients or whatever. It just doesn't work. And some people are counterintuitive too. Like some people drink coffee and they actually get sleepy. So it does the exact opposite. So don't worry, just call us up. We'll refund your money. But more importantly, get on the phone with myself or another one of our coaches and let us help you find a different tool for that toolkit. So if that tool didn't work, we'll pull it out and we'll put a different one in, even if it's at a different company.
Oh, nice. Okay. So I know we have to wrap soon, but I'm going to be selfish here. So I saw the bundles. I saw that. So sort of what I need. I need energy. I want to sleep better. I'd like to lose the 6 pounds I gained in my tummy during the shelter in, but the most thing is energy.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'd recommend you do is you do it for 90 days. Are you kind of want to stick your toes in the water, or are you all in, gal?
I kind of like to see what the 90 days looks like. And then I know
it's basically what I would do is I would just have you take if you paid me to coach you, I would have you on the total energy and detox bundle and the turmeric, and you do that for 90 days. We won't even change your diet. We're just going to have you take the products, focus on your water intake, which it looks like you've got that going pretty good already. Focus on the core 4 secrets. And then the other thing I would suggest is what we made it mandatory is we have our clients buy these little infrared saunas, because these saunas fit so well. I've been a sauna geek. I've been geeking on saunas for like 11 years. I'm a sauna dealer. Actually, for 9 years, I've been a sauna dealer. And there's this company that they have the best saunas in the world. But guess what? I found that this gal introduced me to this guy. These Taiwanese researchers, these scientists are very spiritual, and they meditate. And they meditated, and they downloaded these computer processors, and they built these processors, and they broke a natural law in infrared. So imagine you and me just taking off and flying right now and breaking gravity. They broke Planck's law. Bottom line is these saunas are 6 to 9 times more powerful than the best wooden box saunas that cost thousands. People can get these after that $100 discount code, you can get the silver unit for $1,400. And it pops up into your house. It's the size of a small stove. It's 33 pounds. You can travel with it. And once you get in this thing, you will be in it every day, because I have never seen anything work so well for so many things. It just accentuates and speeds up the process of everything we're doing. It increases blood flow.
How much space do you need for it? I mean, I'm trying to.
It's little. They're little. They're not very big at all. They put a little chair in it. It's a zip up tent thing. And then people will go online. They'll see other stuff on Amazon. Not the same technology.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's not. I've been dealing in saunas I've been geking out on this. I know
you
about
got
ELF.
me. I'm in. So you're going to send me a link to this. So
yeah, just go to it's thehealthysauna.com. Just go to thehealthysauna.com. You get your $100 discount code, which is Health Hero. And there's a black unit and a silver unit. The black unit just has a heavier cover, but it's the same guts. It doesn't matter which one you get. The black one's about $500 more. Just get one.
Okay.
So what it'll do is it actually shrinks your blood molecules and your water molecules in your body, because in nature, water's vibrational frequency is infrared, specifically 8 microns. Wow. This sauna, they filtered out the near and the mid. They're delivering 98% pure infrared. It was supposed to not be able to get done. So your blood molecules shrink. And what happens is now, Denise, it can get out to capillaries, into these closed off capillaries that were too small. It can get in there and start rejuvenating the skin, rejuvenating the organ systems, and bringing nutrients and oxygen to those areas and cleaning them out. So for
You
me,
had
when
me
I
at
started,
capillaries. I'm so excited.
yeah, well, for me, I was excited because the first 2.5 weeks in the new sauna, I had acne in my face, chest, and back. So I was pumped because I knew I was pushing shit out at a deeper level. And then 2 months into it, all of a sudden, all this gray stuff started pouring out of me. Now, mind you, I've taken a sauna 30 minutes a day. I've done all these detoxes, liver flushes, kidney flushes, water fasting. I've done green 85 and water for 40 days and 40 nights one time. I've done all kinds of stuff, right, to be healthier. And all of a sudden, for 5 months, I've got gray stuff pouring out of me. It's lead. It was heavy metals
Yeah.
from growing up as a kid because all the hunting, fishing, weights,
yeah.
and shotgun shells I loaded and
We
lead
grew
paint
up in the
matches.
70s. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I swallowed some leaded gasoline one time when I was siphoning gas out of my dad's pickup to put in my motorcycle, which I did all the time, but I swallowed it.
Wow.
So anyway, it's amazing. It's amazing. So if you do just that, if you just do the sauna, take our products, follow those core 4 secrets, I promise you in 6 months, you're going to feel 10 years younger and you're going to look 5 years younger. And you'll have so much energy. You'll have so much energy that you're going to be more excited and you're going to want to then start making more healthier food changes and you're going to want to go to the gym. So our program is
I already want to go to the gym.
It's a very slow baby step. It's like a baby step program. A lot of people don't have you can't motivate yourself to go do stuff all the time. You have to feel pulled. And when all of a sudden you have all this extra energy, you're just like, I remember, man, because I was an athlete and then I went to not athlete at all. I was just walking my dogs because they couldn't walk themselves. And one day after I got on this lifestyle, I'm walking the dogs. I hadn't got back in the gym yet, really. And all of a sudden I'm like, I'm going to run. And I jogged with the dogs. It just naturally happens.
Yeah.
When your cells get excited again, you take that cellular pollution off them, the microscopic burden away, and you start flooding them with what they need and the water and the nutrients, and you just come back to life. And it's like, I literally feel like I'm 18 and I'm 49 in a couple months.
Love it. So I broke my back when I was 22. And I said, if you want to go from 22 to 80, this is a very efficient way to do it. And so I feel younger now than I did when I was 22, but I still feel too old. And so I am so excited to turn back time. And I'm geeking out right now. I want to show you, but I'm not going to show you. But in my closet door there, I don't know what they call it officially, but it's a detoxing light box.
Cool.
That
like
I
a
got.
Red light?
It's white light, but I don't look at it I have to wear goggles. It's extremely strong. And you can only do it for like 3 to 6 seconds because it's so strong. I had it when I had Lyme disease.
Oh, okay.
I was taking all these tinctures that would flood my body. Anyway, so we had to get rid of it all. And so I know how powerful when you get the right device, but there's so many, and that thing was.
I'm actually interested. I'm not familiar with that. So if you could send me the information on that, I'd like to check into it.
Yeah, I'll show you a picture I'll take a picture of the brand and then you can see it.
I want to know about it.
But my doctor who prescribed it to me, he has cured me of rheumatoid arthritis, Lyme disease, and mold poisoning. So he knows what he's doing. Yeah. One of the rare ones.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to do the 90 days. We'll talk offline about that, but I'm in both feet.
Okay. And then you'll have me back on and we'll do a recap.
Yes.
90-day challenge. This will be fun.
All right. Well, Tim, I am so excited we met. I'm so excited we had you here. And I hope we scared people just enough because I don't want you to be living in fear right now. I want you to be empowered and realize that he just gave you like 4 things that cost nothing that you can do at every meal. And you can go to his website and get it, chemicalfreebody.com. But of course, you also want to get the nutrition that you were going to start putting into our bodies because they're starving.
Well, they said at Hippocrates Health Institute, just to reflect on what you said a minute ago, which is people that come here are either enlightened or frightened.
Yeah.
Right. This is the institute that I went to when my friend got the cancer. And just become enlightened. Don't wait. Don't wait for the wheel to fall off and then you're in fear mode. Look around. I mean, people are we're falling quickly. That our health is in the toilet. If you don't want to be a statistic and die of heart disease or die of cancer and all that stuff, then just learn this stuff, apply it, change your lifestyle. I said earlier today, if you want to go north, you can't keep going south. You have to change your direction. You have to change the input, change the environment. It's really easy to do. It's simple. It might take some time. You can't maybe do it all at once. I've been at this game for 11 years and I'm always looking. You just told me about some white light that I can get in there for 3 seconds and detox. I want to know about that because if it works for me, I'm going to share it with other people. I have to have first person experience with it, just like I had with that sauna. And now I think every sauna in America should have it because I know how polluted we are. Everybody should have that little sauna. Everybody should be taking some sort of detox and nutrition stuff, but it's buyer beware because 95% of them are just not that great at all.
Well, and I drink I drink a huge thing of green stuff before I talk to you, but it's my concoction and I know it could be better. And yes, it's organic, but like you said, like that's not enough. So I'm so excited to just upgrade and
awesome. I'll have Stephanie schedule you so you can get those little 15-minute laser calls with me over the next 30 days. We'll just kind of launch you and then we can come back and ensure that, and I know you're going to do good because you're excited and you really are loving yourself and you're putting yourself first. So that's awesome. You're going to have really good results.
Yeah. And I know that when I'm better, the better I get, like my daughter just says, Mom, I'm so grateful you're healthy. I'm so grateful you're well, because when you're well, I'm well. And all of our kids feel that way.
Yeah.
And our partners feel that way. And oh, by the way, I know we've talked about poop. We've talked about important stuff, but we haven't talked about sex. And I just want to make a plug for that too. If you are not feeling satisfied because you don't feel good and you don't feel sexy and all that, this is going to change that too. I mean, every aspect of your life gets better when you have healthy cells and healthy mindset.
When I first got started in this, I'll just share a funny story. David, my insurance agent for my home and auto insurance and that kind of stuff. I was telling him about what I was doing because I was getting some insurance and stuff. He's like, yeah, my wife are into health. She's a nurse and we want to try your stuff. So he bought some of it and started taking it. And then he called me up. I don't know, 4 months later, we were talking. He's like, dude, your stuff is legit. He's like, I can't believe I'm going to tell you this, but he's like, my wife and I, we just had sex for like 2 hours. He goes, we haven't done that since we were like 20, and they were in their 40s. And in the first month, he dropped like 12 pounds. His wife dropped 27, which is quite abnormal.
In a month?
Usually it's the men. Yeah, the men that lose the weight faster, and the women, it usually takes longer because of all the hormonal stuff going on. Usually it actually takes about 4 to 5 months for women to get their hormones balanced out before the weight starts coming off, because there's just there's so much chaos going on inside of them and pollution. We got to get it all out of there. That's why I always tell people, ladies, be patient, be patient, be patient. You might actually see your figure changing, but the weight will not be there yet. So their pants and clothes start fitting differently, but the weight's the same. And then, later it comes off. And sometimes women get really frustrated. I had this gal that was a banker and she's like, she only called me because her friend had lost some weight. She wanted to lose weight. And she was very stressed out professional, going from phone meeting to phone meeting to phone conference and all this stress. And in the beginning, she said, don't even think about getting me off of my coffee and my wine. And I was like, I didn't even say nothing. I never brought that up. Did you hear me? And she's like, no, I just want to make sure you know. Well, so anytime you say my this or my that, you're holding on to something there. Well, 4 or 5 months into it, she called me up. She's like, hey, you know what? She goes, I want to let you know I'm off of coffee and off of wine now. And she goes, what I realized is that I'm a sugar addict. That was my problem. Because what was she putting in the coffee? Milk and sugars and creamers and all this crap. She was basically eating dessert for breakfast, let's just be honest. And then she was drinking all that wine. And she's like, my energy's up. I feel fantastic. My skin's healing. My hairdresser just said, what are you doing? Your hair is coming in thicker and darker. And her nails started growing better. It's real simple. Change the inputs, you change how your body's going to regenerate itself. And we have a self-regenerating mechanism. Plug your body into a good environment, clean it up, and let it regenerate in a healthy fashion and start being part of the evolutionary process again and stop de-evolving and worrying about getting sick.
Okay. On that note, thank you. Thank your business marketing person who found me. And you are going to be a friend of mine for life, I can tell. So it is Chemical Free Body. This is Tim James, the health hero. And this is Denise saying thank you for listening. And we want to hear your success stories too. So I'll be sharing mine in 90 days. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you got me to do this. I'm a really stubborn person too, but I'm so excited. Like I said, that's what you do with fear. You turn it into excitement and you go from there. All right.
Awesome.
So thank you. Have a wonderful weekend.
You too. Thank you, listeners.